Today, we're going to tackle a huge challenge that so many growing brands run into. How do you get a big national marketing plan to actually work on the ground? In all the different local spots where you do business.
So let me just ask you point blank. Think about your own strategy for a sec. Is it really, truly working everywhere? It seems like a simple question, right? But the answer can be super complex. For one fast-growing restaurant chain, this was the absolute million-dollar question they had to figure out. Okay, so here's the setup. You've got this really successful quick service restaurant, a QSR, and they're growing like crazy, but then bam, they hit a wall. That one-size-fits-all marketing plan that had been crushing it for them, it was suddenly falling flat. And the reason was it was totally missing what made their customers in different cities unique. And that brings us to what I like to call the one-size-fits-none problem. See, they knew something was off, but they were pretty much just fumbling around in the dark for answers. It's kind of like trying to find a specific local street using a map of the entire country. When you dig in, their problem really came down to three big headaches. First, they just had limited local visibility. All their big picture data was basically hiding what was really going on region by region. Second, their promotion planning was just inefficient. They were throwing offers out there that just weren't landing with local tastes. And finally, they had no way to compare markets, so they couldn't figure out why one city was a huge hit while another was just meh. So the leadership team, they had to boil it all down. They landed on two absolutely critical questions. Number one, how exactly is customer behavior different from one city to the next? And number two, can we actually use those local insights to make our promotions better without having to, blow up our entire national strategy? That was the puzzle they had to solve. And that puzzle pushed them to find a new, sharper way of looking at things. It was pretty clear it was time to stop guessing and start seeing what was really happening out there. And that meant finding a totally new approach to their data. Now, the main tool at the heart of this whole story is something called a marketing mix model, or MMM. Put simply, it's a fancy way of analyzing all your marketing, your TV ads, your social media, you name it, to see what's actually driving sales. The whole point is to spend your money way, way smarter. But here's the catch. Not all MMMs are created equal. The traditional way just gives you one big national picture. You get these really broad insights, and if you want more detail, well, it gets crazy expensive fast. This new approach, though, was a game changer. They could build their national model and as many local models as they wanted for no extra cost. The difference was huge. They could finally see both the forest and the individual trees. So what happened when they finally looked through this new, sharper lens? Well, they started to uncover some really surprising local truths, things their national data had been completely hiding from them the whole time. To put this new strategy to the test, they decided to focus on 13 different local markets. That's a big enough group to really see if the national picture was telling the whole story. And spoiler alert, what they found was going to change everything. And here it is. This is the big aha moment. This chart basically shows that in more than half of those markets, what was happening on the ground looked totally different from the national average. This was all the proof they needed. That one-size-fits-all approach? It was definitely one-size-fits-none. And check out just how different things were. The national data was screaming, TikTok is our top social channel. But the local reality? Nope. In over half the markets, Meta, Facebook and Instagram, was actually the one crushing it. Or how about this? Nationally, the impact of billboards was kind of a shrug, but locally, they were absolutely critical for getting people in the door during the lunch and afternoon rush in big cities. We're not talking small tweaks here. These were fundamental misunderstandings of what was actually working. Okay, so discovering all this is one thing, but acting on it is what really matters. So let's look at how the company turned these incredible insights into a much smarter strategy and basically turned all that data into dollars. So their path forward became really clear. First step, get those super detailed, granular insights. Step 2, use that info to build tailored strategies for each region. From there, you can optimize everything, the timing of your campaigns, the offers you make, to match what local people actually want. And the end result? You maximize every single dollar you spend, putting it exactly where it's going to make a real difference. And hey, you don't just have to take my word for it. Chris Novak, who's the COO at Eden Collective, one of their agency partners, said it perfectly. He said that this new approach uncovered insights they never would have seen with a national-only model, and it gave them the confidence to build local campaigns that really, truly clicked with customers. So, the ultimate transformation here is pretty simple, but it's powerful. The company went from painting with these big, broad strokes to using a fine tipped brush. They started creating precise, data driven strategies that led to way smarter planning and much, much more effective marketing. This whole story leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. Knowing just how much a big picture, national view can hide, what hidden opportunities are just sitting there waiting to be found in your local data? Something to chew on. Thanks for tuning in.